morning, Quadcopter 101 here, and I have something really neat for you today. I think you'll like it. This is the Syma X8C, of course, and what I got attached to it today is, I don't know if any of you have seen my previous videos of this FPV system that I've previously demonstrated on the Flying 3D X8. This is just simply a little cheap $20 FPV transmitter attached to my RunCam camera, and I went over in somewhat detail how to attach this to your transmitter in my previous video. It's just a simple USB port connection that runs into the AV input on the transmitter. But I didn't go over into details on how to power this transmitter. The transmitter does need power, and in the previous video I powered it off of the 12 volt available power of the X8C or the Flying 3D X8 quadcopter. It has actually power ports for auxiliary equipment. But how would you power such a thing on a Syma X8C? It does not have available aux power ports. Well, the battery has a balancing plug, and this balancing plug can be used as an aux port for powering auxiliary equipment. You could either power 3.7 volts off of it by taking from the center red pin, or you can get 7.4 volts from the series of the two 3.7 volt batteries that's in here by taking from the outer port, the outer red wire, and the inner black negative wire of this balance port. Now you can find, if you go online, you can find available plugs to go with this this particular balance port. So you can just simply plug in. These cables that you can find online run about $1, $2. Actually, what I did with mine, and I'll show you right now, since mine uses, my transmitter has a red JSD connector for its input, I needed to make a cable to go with this, and all I did was take a battery, an old battery that I had, and take the red JSD connector off the battery and soldered it onto the outer two wires of this cable that I bought online. And that enables me to just simply plug in to the balance charger plug of the quadcopter. Now notice I also melted a little slot in the battery door of the Syma X8C so I could run this balance charger port or plug outside the battery bay. That way I won't have to open it up and jam a wire in there. It's just a simple way to do it. I guess I could have done it by going through there too. I just noticed now there's a little available opening there that I could have ran this balance plug through. So let's go for a flight of the Syma X8C with the FPV transmitter and the RunCam camera. And the reason I'm doing this is the X8C quadcopter is very docile. It's a very docile flyer. It would be a great beginner's FPV, learn to fly FPV quadcopter. I'm not saying beginner flyers and learning to fly, but learning to fly FPV, the next step. Now, this is assuming you already know how to fly, in other words, folks. We're just trying to transition into FPV flying, and this would be a good quadcopter to do such. So let's go for a flight of it and see how it works. Starting the timer. Turning on the FPV screen. And I got video. Going to high. And away we go. Switching to FPV. There we are. Now the reason I like the X8G or X8C is it has darn good range. You know, 200 meter range. You know, some quadcopters you get them and you can easily fly out of range. This one not so much. More power. Flying FPV here. There I am. There's my wife. I hope I'm going overhead. It's a great little quadcopter, or a great big quadcopter to practice FPV flying with. And I'm going to keep a short 5-minute flight because, again, I'm draining the power from the quadcopter's battery itself. So I don't know how much that's going to affect flight time, but it will have to affect it, you know, obviously, because we're sucking power from the battery. But yeah, this is a great quadcopter to practice FPV, and it's a good transmitter I'm using. This is the TS851 $20 transmitter from BoatScam. They're cheap, but very good, with great range. More power. And of course, by doing such, with the run cam here, I also get great video. Let's bring it back overhead, and I'm going to take it up higher to show you. You can use it to aim your camera. It's pointed at the mountains there. Oh, this is just like flying like a bird, folks. You know, this sunscreen blocks I made, I highly recommend these. Make one of these if you got a FPV screen. Oh man, I'm far away, ain't I? See, that's where that 200 meters comes into play. You want a quad with a good range on it. But what was talking about? Yeah, this sunscreen, great to make one of these. If you're using a screen, more power, folks. More power, more power. There we go. What else? I notice I'm using a screen with a tripod. Not using goggles. I got a spotter here. My wife is the spotter. I could easily transition back to normal flight if I want to. By just going, where's that? To my wife, and she'll point it out to me, and I'll take over. Also, the screen that I'm using here is a Sky 702 dual channel receiver, but currently there are some good cheap monitors with receivers built into them that you can purchase to do this with. A good one is, there's one made for the Eachine Racer, actually, that I think is running about $65, and it has the frequencies for that will match the transmitter of this quadcopter, so you can use that with this quadcopter or this Boscam transmitter that I'm using. We got to be getting close to 7 or wow, this is neat. Yeah, flying. This is much better than flying the 5.09G. The 5.09G is a cool beginner's FPV quadcopter, but this one here, you can get some legs on it and take it out far. This has a lot of range is what I'm saying, folks. I'm flying into the wind now. It's slowing down a bit. There's obviously some wind there. Fun. Okay, I'm getting a little break up there. Maybe the battery power is getting a little bit low. I'm going to start thinking about bringing it in here after this pass. Which way is the wind coming? I got to go downwind and do an approach into the wind. It's coming from my left, so we'll turn to the right here, turn to the right. And starting the approach. Reducing power. I'm going to switch to visual when it gets close. Okay. Take it over. Back to visual. Thank you. Okay, I'm taking over with the camera now. That's the flight of the Syma X8C. I still got battery power on it, but we're calling it quits here. Let me turn it off to be safely handling it. Okay, that's this flight with the Syma X8C with the Boscam TS351 transmitter. It runs about $20 online. You can find it all over the place. And notice all I did to hook this up was I'm using a credit card mount. Look up camera credit card mount quadcopter on YouTube and you'll find out how to make this. And I got my run cam and camera attached to it, and I got the transmitter zip tied to the top panel of the credit card mount, as you can see right there. Let me get in the sunlight. And very simple. By strapping it on with this Velcro cable ties, I can strap this easily onto just about any quadcopter. Even, you know, the Tarantula, I can throw this on the Tarantula. I can throw this on the MJX X101, any quadcopter, any of the cheaper, inexpensive quadcopters that have the lifting power to lift this, you can throw on here. The bigger brushed motor ones is what I'm talking about. Or you can actually stick this on your brushless GPS quadcopter too, if you wish, as I demonstrated on the Flying 3D X8. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this flight. It's Quadcopter 101 signing out from the Mojave Desert. Look at our mountains with all the snow on top of them. It's real pretty. Hope you enjoyed this flight. Quadcopter 101 signing out.